All right, let's get into the story. Recent interview with The Breakfast Club, Lil Boosie shared his thoughts on recent controversy surrounding Lil Nas X. Oh, Lord, here we go. Boosie was asked if he thought he went too far with his last comment about Lil Nas X, and he said he would drag his ass off stage and beat his ass. Boosie said, I gotta speak up because as far as straight people in the world, you don't have any opinion no more on sexuality. Everything is harm. The rapper also said that Lil Nas X and rappers like him are attacking our children. He then clarified his statement by explaining that he has nothing against gay people because his tour manager is gay. What are your thoughts on Lil Boosie's statements?
And I have a choice to make in this moment. And it's do I choose violence or do I choose to love? I'm just so exhausted when it comes to this. So I think I'm going to choose the Lord. I'm going to choose the Lord.
Okay.
For those of you guys out there who always want to say it's just an opinion, it's not homophobic. What do you call it when somebody says they will drag you off the stage and beat your ass? If that's not homophobia, I don't know what is. And you would drag him off the stage and beat his ass for doing what? The same thing that you are freely able to do in your heterosexual life. I'm just tired of this conversation as it relates to Boosie. And the larger question is, why is Boosie so preoccupied with homosexuality? That's the question I need y'all to understand. It's easy for me to understand the homophobia. Why has he made it his life's mission to be Lil Nas X's arch nemesis and the anti-homosexuality activist? Riddle me that. Beyond that, I have nothing for Boosie. Trying to talk to the likes of Boosie is like talking to a parked car. It's just a complete waste of time. Talking to him is like talking to them racist Trumpsters. They just are who they are. They're willfully ignorant. They don't want to hear no other perspective. They're too stupid to analyze any other perspective. And you just have to let him have at it. So Boosie, you know what? You can have at it.
Okay. Very well said. Al, what do you think?
I think for me, it's the hypocrisy for me, right? Because according to him, gay artists like Lil Nas that are open and honest about their queer sexuality, he's saying that they're going to have a negative influence on the younger generation. And he said the way the media is forcing it down the straight's throat is really causing him concern and pause because he feels like it will affect the younger generation. Now, this is where I get confused, and this is how simple my mind is. Now, he grew up in the same generation I grew up. So the media's portrayal of like the Cosby Show, the media's portrayal of Good Times, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where we saw wives and families in the family unit together as one, was what the media used to influence me when I was growing up, and he's around my same age. However, he's got 10 kids, 8 baby mamas. He raps about violence and guns. I mean, it's the hypocrisy there for me. So how can you say that the media is using the homosexuals and artists like Lil Nas to influence a generation, right? A generation of young kids, when the media used shows like The Cosby Show and influenced me in a good way, but it didn't influence you of the family values that well. So to me, that's where I get confused with him. And like you, why is he talking about this every week? Is he talking about it because he's really concerned? Is he talking about it because he's getting more than his 15 minutes? Or is he talking about it because he wants attention? I just don't know.
Well, I think he's talking about it because this is the most anyone has talked about him in a long time. I may be wrong, and someone can leave me a comment in a message in the comments. When's the last time his music was really popping? So he's getting a lot of attention because every time he talks about this, it trends on social media, and every talk show is talking about this. I think listen, two things can be true at the same time. You can have an opinion, you sure can. But when you talk about whooping someone's ass because they're gay and the example that sets, while meanwhile you're doing all the things that Al said, it's kind of like we can hear some of your message, but not from you. Not from you. If it was someone like Will Smith, someone with a clean reputation that can we can't say, well, what about you? We can maybe receive some of the things you're saying, but you just say it so ignorantly and it takes away from any valid points, because sometimes he does make valid points on things, but you can't say one thing and say, oh, they're doing all this bad stuff, and then threaten to literally assault an artist for just living out loud. It doesn't make sense, Boosie. And I feel like, do you not see how it's coming off? Because there's a lot of street folks, like street brothers, that's and forgive me if I'm using the wrong term. Y'all be mad about that. That say, yo, I rock with what he's saying. He real when he's speaking for the straight folks. Right. But you lose your credibility when you talk about fighting someone. Period, point blank. Right. Y'all agree with that? And
I hate the double back around the block, because it's the proverbial I have black friends. Oh, I don't have anything against gay people. My tour manager gay. My stylist is gay. But you literally just said in the sentence prior that you would whoop his ass. You would drag him off stage and whoop his ass. And I'd be more, I would love to sit down and pick his brain. Whoop his ass for what, sir?
Right. What is that solving is the question.
But why? Because you can't say, I'm not homophobic. It's just my opinion, but I'll beat your ass. Make it make sense.
And adding to the conversation, it's the people that come forward and choose to die on this hill, I guess, or fight on this hill. Jocelyn Hernandez says she agrees with Boosie about his take on not allowing kids to be exposed to that kind of content. So again, it's the messenger. That's great, Jocelyn. I agree, but does your child know the stuff that you do on television? Because it is a terrible look.
Right. She need to go sit her Rosetta Stone in need of having illiterate ass down somewhere, because that piece of crap, garbage, sewage, biohazardous ass waste show that she has on Zeus Network has set Black women, Latina women, and women of color back 900 decades. Okay, y'all don't get me rolled up. I'm not going to choose violence. I am choosing the Lord. Somebody put on.
I know we should move on, but it's just the people that are coming forward against this is mind blowing.
But you know what? It also proves one thing, that they don't, to be honest, and the reason why I stopped getting infuriated, Boosie and Jocelyn Hernandez, no tea, no shade, do not have the intellectual range to even have this conversation. And that's just the true tea. And people who like them, who have these same opinions, quite frankly, they don't have the intellectual range to even have the conversation. So it really doesn't mean much coming from the baby, Lil Boosie, and Jocelyn Hernandez, who's stingy with her kitty cat. I cannot.
I'd like to invite Lil Boosie onto TGIF to have that conversation and see if you do have the intellectual range to have this conversation with us. And this is not a hostile invitation. This is an honest invitation. So if anyone's following him that knows him, shoot him this clip. We would love to have you on and talk to you about this, because I feel like if we don't have this conversation, if you don't have a real conversation with someone, it's going to keep on looking like just a clout chasing moment, although you don't need clout, but it just seems like an attention seeking moment. All right. I'll put it out there.